steps of research, how to conduct a research, or we can say how to conduct a business research. Yesterday, we were looking at sampling techniques. Two types of sampling techniques we have seen: probabilistic or probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Under both, we have seen four subtypes, which will help us to choose the sample from a large population. And why to choose sample from large population? Just to make the research economic. Economic in the sense time and money will be saved. That is the basic, and that is the basic reason behind that. And the second reason is that research should complete on time. See, four constraints on the first day. I've shown you four different constraints. In that time, money and information is already there. You need to always check before going for any research. The last unit is data analysis and report writing. In this, whatever data you have collected, you need to analyze it. Now, how to analyze it, how to code the data, how to remove the errors, all the things we will learn in this. Processing of data will be the first step in analyzing the data. Process of converting raw unorganized data in organized data. Raw data, whatever responses you have collected. Question is whether you like the product. The response is yes or no. Maybe 50 respondents are there. There are 20 yes and 30 no's. This is raw data. You need to convert, or you need to code it, and then you need to analyze it. Sub-stages of this processing data is editing, coding, classification, tabulation, percentages. Please understand: editing, coding, classification, tabulation, and percentages. You edit some things, like whenever you write a letter, whenever you write a case, whenever you write something, you try and recheck it. Rechecking is editing. There should not be any errors. When this yes, no sort of answers, or maybe different sort of answers we collect, we need to code it. Yesterday also, the day before yesterday, and yesterday also, we were discussing it in questionnaire formation, that whatever responses we will get, we need to convert it into different codes. So we will give it a number to measure it. And the scale is already known to you all. Four different types of scale, or two major scaling classification, that is comparative scale and non-comparative scales. Now, how it is done? Editing is the process of removing errors, ensure completeness and correctness of the data. So here you check each and every response, and you check for completeness and correctness. Coding is assigning alphabet, number, symbol to the responses of the respondents. Why we need to code it? Because if we want to use statistical methods, we expect these attributes in terms of measurable unit. Measurable unit means numbers. So we convert it into quantitative terms, coding. Prepare code sheet for all the questions. Take the questionnaire and start putting the coding. Wherever yes, no is there, you will put 1, 2. Wherever male, females are there, you will put 1, 2. Wherever the Likert scale you have used, 1 to 5. Highly disagree to highly agree. Then you may put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So such type of codings are there, and the respective responses. Numeric codes are preferred. Ensure smooth data entry in the computer software. Yes, the last one, ensure smooth data entry in the computer software. Unless and until each and every response is coded, we cannot complete the third step, that is data entry. Now, what is classification? Classification is the process of categorization of objects into homogeneous groups or objects which have common characteristics. We try to classify each response into homogeneous groups. It helps to reduce the data and arrange in organized manner. It helps to reduce the data and arranged in organized manner. Let us see what it is. Ungrouped versus group data. Data can be classified as group data or ungrouped data. Ungrouped data are data that are not organized, or if arranged, could only be from highest to lowest or lowest to highest. If I ask you what is your weight, and there are 90 students in my group, each one is giving me different answer: 67, 54, 58, 61, and so on. So this is raw data which I have collected. I need to put it in classified group. Now, how I can make a group, or how I can put it in ungrouped form? Group. If I want to group all the weights of the students present in my group, then I need to check what is the lowest and what is the highest number. You will see later on also the lowest and the highest weight, and then I'll divide it into 5 to 6 classes. So we are grouping it, and according to those classes we will put the weights. That becomes group data. Whereas ungrouped data do not have classes. It do not have classes. Let us see how it is. Once the data is edited, it is coded, it is being uploaded, we try to use different presentations forms. The first one is textual method, rearrangement from lowest to highest, stem and leaf plot. Stem and leaf, what it is, though it is not in your syllabus, but we are going to check what is stem and leaf plot or what is stem and leaf diagram. The second is tabulation form, also we can present. First, we can present it into textual form or text form. Second, we can present it into tabulation form. And third type is we can present it into graphical method. Different graphs we may use. We will check each and every graph. Textual presentation of data can be presented using paragraphs or sentences. It involves enumerating means highlighting important characteristics, emphasizing significant figures, and identifying important features of data. Now, suppose this is a data. You are asked to present the performance of your section in the statistics test. The following are the test scores of your class. These are the test scores available, right? The solution: first, arrange the data into order. So we have arranged the data into increasing order: 9, 17, 18, 20, 23, 23, 24, and so on. So this data has been arranged into increasing, lowest to highest or highest to lowest. This can be done in two ways: rearranging the lowest to highest or using stem and leaf plot. So this is the arrangement. Now, with the arranged data, pertinent data worth mentioning can be easily recognized. The following is one way of presenting the textual data. Now, text form, how we can present this data? The data is in front of you. If you want to present it, how you will present? You're working in an organization, and being a sales manager, you need to present the data. Data is in front of you. You have rearranged into lowest to highest, and now you have written it into textual form. In the statistics class of 40 students, 3 obtained perfect score of 50. So these last three students have obtained perfect score of 50. 16 students got a score of 40 and above. So this can be seen. 16 students are 40 and above, 42 to 50. Then while only 3 got 19 and below, generally the students performed well in the test, with 23 or 70% getting a passing score of 38 and above. So this is a textual formation, textual presentation of the data. We are trying to present it into text form, in the sentence form. Let us see what stem and leaf is. Stem and leaf, same data. If we see the same data, check this. We have arranged it into increasing order: 9, 17, 18, 20. Remember these four numbers: 9, 17, 18, 20. How we have presented? See, stem is, we have started with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First number was 9. Second was 1 and 7, 17. Third was 1 and 8, 18. Fourth was 20, 2 and 0. Next, 23, 23, 24, 25. See this: 23, 23, 24, 25, and so on. So this is stem, and these are the leaves. These are the leaves. It means stem becomes the first digit and leaves become the second digit of the number. So this is called as stem and leaf plot. This easily shows us that there are 350s. Looking at this table itself, you can see there are 350s. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 and this. 16 students got above 40 marks. Above 40. Rest 3 got below 20 marks. So 1, 2 and 3 and so on. Such type of description you can give with the help of stem and leaf plot. Utilizing the stem and leaf plot, we can readily see the order of the data. Thus, we can say that top 10 got 50, 50, 50 and this. So top 10 students got this many marks and lowest score is 9, 17, 18, 20 respectively. So such type of diagram or the presentation of data plays a very important role in reading the output. We have put a lot of efforts in getting the data. Now, if we go wrong in presentation of the data, then the whole research may go wrong. For that, we need to take care that the research, the data collected must be presented in a better manner. In a better manner means readable manner. So we have seen textual, we have seen stem and leaf diagram. Now, this is one exercise for you all. Prepare a stem and leaf plot and present in textual form the age of 40 teachers. So this is the stem and leaf diagram: 23, 27, 28, 36. First of all, what you need to do is you need to rearrange it into lowest to highest, and then this is the stem and leaf. So what textual explanation you can give? 3 teachers are above the age of 50. 1, 2, 3, 54, 55, 56 are the ages. Whereas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 faculties or 13 teachers are above 40, plus 13 plus 3 is 16. 16 teachers are above 40. There are 6 teachers, those who are young and they are into their 20s. So we have senior faculties, approximate 16 faculties are very senior, above 40, experienced faculty. Such type of textual presentation you may give. This is the beginning. This is the raw data which we are trying to present. Let us see more things. Tabulation presentation of the data. How we will present the data in tabular form. Now check a simple table. Simple table constitutes what? The first thing is always table number, the table title, youth activities, column header. So heading to the columns, row classifier, what the rows are, the body, and source note, from where you got this data, and then you try and put the respective numbers. So this is a simple tabulation presentation of the data. Now, this may be called as frequency distribution table. So what frequency distribution table is? It is the arrangement of data into different classes and the numbers of cases which fall into those classes. First one, we will see ungrouped data first. Ungrouped means, see, the ages are 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are no classes. There are no classes. There are 2 students with age 12. There are 13 students with age 13. There are 27 students with age 14. There are 4 students with age 15. There are 3 students with age 16 and 1 with 17. So the total of this frequency is 50. And this is ages of 50 students. This is ungrouped data. Try and check this. And whatever we have seen earlier, this is raw data. So there are 3 types of data which we will normally come across. One is raw data. This is the raw data which you are seeing. Raw data can be converted into ungrouped data. So this is ungrouped data and this is group data. Check this. Groups are there. Frequency distribution table for a quiz course of 50 students in geometry. 0 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 11, 12 to 14. Check this, 2, 3, 5, 6. So these are not continuous classes. These are discontinued classes. The classes are discontinued. If the classes would have been 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 14, 15. Then the classes would have been continuous classes. Now you can see there is a difference. 2, it starts from 3. 5, it starts from 6. So these are discontinued classes. And any score between 0 to 2, we have put here. So 1 student scored between 0 to 2. 2 students scored between 3 to 5. 13 students scored between 6 to 8. 15 students scored between 9 to 11 and 19 students scored between 12 to 14. So how to prepare a frequency table? Be sure that classes are mutually exclusive. These are mutually exclusive classes initially, and then later on you need to prepare a continuous classes. Now why classes has to be mutually exclusive? Classes mutually exclusive क्यों होना चाहिए? मैंने जैसे आपको बताया 0 to 3 and 3 to 6. इसमें अगर हम लोग इसको कंटिन्यूस कर देते हैं 0 to 3 and 3 to 6, तो इसको हम लोग म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव क्लास कहेंगे. It means even though there is a score of 3, 3 will not be included in this, 3 will be included in this, right? And this, that is called as mutually exclusive class. म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव क्यों होना चाहिए? क्योंकि एक जो भी डेटा हम लोगों ने कलेक्ट किया है, इट शुड नॉट बी रिकॉर्डेड इनटू 2 क्लासेस. मैंने 3 को यहाँ पे भी लिख लिया और 3 को यहाँ पे भी कंसीडर किया, तो मेरा फ्रीक्वेंसी कितना 1 से बढ़ जाएगा, बिकॉज आई हैव रिकॉर्डेड अ सिंगल नंबर इनटू 2 डिफरेंट क्लासेस, और वो हो जाएगा एरर. तो हमारा टोटल ऑफ फ्रीक्वेंसी जो रहेगा वो कितना हो जाएगा? इंस्टेड ऑफ 50 इट विल बिकम 51, which is wrong. That's why mutually exclusive classes we have to use. Include all classes even if frequency is 0. Classes सारे लीजिए starting from 0. Try to use same width of the classes. Always the width of the class should be same. Means distance between, जैसे मैंने कहा 0 to 3, 3 width. 3 to 6, again 3 width. 6 to 9, 3 width. So the class interval is 3. Select convenient number of classes. Convenient number of classes, if you ask me convenient number of classes, for a small data it should be 5 to 6 classes. अब आप कहोगे सर ये क्लासेस क्या है? ये जो मैंने लिखा है यहाँ पे, these are the classes 1 2 3 4 5. Here we have used 5 classes, right? So such type of classes, for small data it may be 5 to 6, and for large data it may touch 20. 20 rarely we use, but then for big data we have to use this. Now big data we have stopped using pen and paper. Everything is done through a program now, so you need not worry. Everything is done through a program, and there automatically the things happens. But you should know the basics. While analyzing it, you should understand what is class width, what is lower class limit, lower class limit is 0, higher class limit is 2. Here 3, 5, lower is 6, 8 is higher, 9 is lower, 11 is higher, right? And if you ask me midpoint of this, so 6 plus 8 divided by 2, you get the midpoint. 6 plus 8 divided by 2, you get the midpoint. 3 plus 5 divided by 2, you get the midpoint. 0 plus 2 divided by 2, you get the midpoint, that is 1, and so on. Such things you should know. The sum of class frequencies must equal to the original data values. Original data, score of 50 students in geometry, the frequency total should match to 50. That's what they have written. So while making frequency distribution, you need to remember these 6 points. Construct a complete frequency distribution table with 7 classes. उन्होंने कहा है आपको 7 classes होने चाहिए. I'll give you the hint. Always go for the lowest number present. इस पूरे number में, this is the raw data. Raw data you need to convert it into grouped data. Why? Because उन्होंने classes कहा है आपको. So choose the lowest number, whatever lowest number is, and choose the highest number. Here the highest number is, if I'm not wrong, 125, and the lowest is 70. Any number below 70 you can see? No, 70. So 70 is lowest and 125 is highest, and they have told us to use 7 classes. So 7 classes will be 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100, 100 to 110, 110 to 120, 120 to 130, right? This becomes 6. Now they have told us to make it 7 classes. So make a difference of 8. Make a difference of 8, 8, 8. If you start from 68, 68 to, or maybe start from 70, 70 to 78, then 78 to 86, and so on. So that class becomes 7. Just check. Fine. And then put the respective values in the respective class. You will get the frequency distribution table. Now, what is contingency table? This table which shows the data enumerated by cell. One type of cell table is the R by C, that is R into C, where the column refers to C. C means columns and R means rows. See this is a contingency table. Like the program, indifferent, do not like the program, and the total. Men, women, children, total. There are 340 people, including men, women, and children. But looking at this, what you can say? आपके सामने टेबल है, हम लोगों ने कंटिजेंसी टेबल बना लिया है. अब इसके फिगर्स को रीड करना है आपको. So how you will present this data? Give as many findings as you can and draw as many conclusions from the findings. The next table can help you to identify the significance finding. Same table, I have converted it into percentages. Check this. Same table. Total is 340. Here also the total is 340. Now what we have done? We have taken percentage. Row wise, column wise. So column total is 43 plus 20 plus 37 is 100%. Row is 33, 37, 30% is 100%. 45, 31, 24 is 100%, and so on. And the total is 151. Now what is this percentage? 44. This is 44 plus 15 plus 41. This is 100%. That means out of 340, we have divided it into percentage. Same way we have done here. 34 plus 37 plus 28 is 100%. That is 340. So now do not use this table for presentation because the percentage might confuse the readers. Can you explain the percentages in each cell? Yes, we can. Each cell percentages. How many men like the program? 33%, right? Because total likings are 151. So out of 151, 33% were men, 37% were women, and 30% were children. So you need to represent it in this manner. Now, presentation of data. There may be two types. One is tabular form. We have seen frequency distribution table or contingency table, and graphical method. So graph we are going to check. Now under tabular form, we have a simple table and a complex table. The first one which we have seen, this is a simple table and this may be a complex table. For graphical, for quantitative data, we have different types: histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve, line chart, normal distribution curve, and so on. And for qualitative, it is bar chart, pictogram, pie chart, map diagram, and so on. So these different types of graphs we use. Let us check. Now what is bar charts? Bar charts, qualitative data. Bar charts, when we put the data into form of bars, that becomes a bar chart, and bar chart are always kept with a distance. Bar chart are always with a distance. Data is presented in the form of rectangular bar of equal breadth. Each bar represents one attribute. Suitable scale should be indicated, and scale starts from 0. The length of the bar is proportional to the magnitude or frequency of the variable. So if the one is one, for one, the frequent number of students is given 1, and these are the enrollment: 70, 200, 3, 120. So what it is? It is the number of enrollment in different classes of a government school. So for first class, there are 70 students. For second class, there are 100 students. Now, how it helps us? Always picture helps us in reading the data easily. If I ask you, in which class maximum enrollment is there? So looking at the figures, you will directly jump to 300 and you will say in 9th class, there are 300 students enrolled. If I ask you where the lowest number of students have been enrolled, you said 70. You will tell me 70. So this way you need to read. How many classes are there? There are 9 classes, or the school runs till 9th class. At looking at this, you may immediately say, right? There was constant rising in the admissions of each class till 230. Later on, in the 6th class, the admission decreases and again it started increasing. So this way also you can explain the bar chart. So we converted the data, the tabular form, into bar chart and we explained it. Multiple bars. Instead of one bar, we are using multiple bars. Now, this brown color shows population and this shows land. Europe population, land. So where the population is maximum, you will immediately say Asia. And where the population is lowest, Oceania. So some country will be there, but I don't think any name like Oceania name country is there, but it is randomly written. Now, if I ask you where the land is maximum, check this: Africa. Land is maximum. But if you check population versus land, which country is prosperous country? Check this: population is less, but then land ratio is almost 3 times. Population is less, land ratio is 3 times. Here population is less, again land ratio is 3 times. Here it is opposite: population is more, land is less. India, right? So normally in America, Russia, this is it: land is more and population is less. So this is multiple bar chart. Component bar chart. In a single bar, we try and show 2 different data, where there are many categories on x-axis and it have further subcategories. Then to accommodate the categories, the bar may be divided into parts, each part representing a certain item and proportional to the magnitude of the particular item. So in this manner also we can present the data. This is component bar. This is multiple bar. This is simple bar chart. Check this component bar. This color shows, purple color shows female. This shows men. Sweden, male, female. USA, male, female, and Pakistan, male, female data. So immediately you can read that there are 50 males and 50 females, 60 males and 40 females, near about 30 males and 70 females. So this is component bar. You try and accommodate lot of data into single bar. Next is histogram. Histogram is again like bar chart, but histogram is a continuous bar. It is a continuous bar. Now, it is used to present variable which have no gaps: age, weight, height, blood pressure, blood sugar, etc. So see this, no gaps. Whereas in bar chart, you have seen gaps everywhere. See this, everywhere there are gaps. Bar chart. But in histogram, there are no gaps. 20 to 30, it starts, the next bar starts from 30 to 40, next bar starts from 40, next bar starts from 50, and so on. So that's why it is a continuous bar. Right? This is histogram. Next is frequency polygon. Now, what is frequency polygon? Frequency polygon is again the same data. If we want to prepare a frequency polygon for this, then we need to take the midpoint, and between 20 to 30 the midpoint is 25. If we extrapolate this and put a point here, again midpoint of this 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, and we join all these lines starting from 15. If we draw a line with the help of a scale, again from this to this, this to this, and so on, right? We get a frequency polygon. These are on midpoints. These are on always used on a midpoint. So frequency polygon in an area diagram of frequency distribution over a histogram. It is a linear representation of frequency table and histogram obtaining by joining the midpoints of the histogram blocks. The spelling, there is a spell mistake. Frequency is plotted at central point of a group. Central point of a group. Now, what is frequency curve? There is no difference between frequency polygon and frequency curve. Only difference is if we draw the curve with a free hand, and join these 2 points. Free hand. Can you check this? Yes. I am trying to join these points with a free hand. Instead of straight line, it will be a curve, and that is called as frequency curve. That is called as frequency curve, right? So frequency polygon, frequency curve, histogram, bar chart. Now this is pie chart. Pie chart, we divide the given data into 360 degrees. We divide the data into 360 degrees. Now, check this. In a hospital, 120 doctors are working. 60 doctors went to Lahore, attend workshop. 20 doctors went to long leave. 30 doctors were retired. So show this data into pie chart. So there are 120 doctors, 60 went to Lahore. Now, this is almost 50%. But then how to get the degrees? How to get the degrees? To get the degrees, what you need to do is 60 divided by 120 into 360 degree. For percentages, what we do, we multiply the data into 100. 60 divided by 120 into 100. वो हो जाता है percentage. यहाँ पे हम लोगों को pie chart के लिए degrees चाहिए. So 60 divided by total, that is 120 into 360. 20 divided by 120 into 360, you will get the degree. 30 divided by 120 into 360, you get the degree. And using the D, you can plot the pie chart. Pictogram normally uses pictures. So popular method of presenting data to those who cannot understand orthodox charts. Those who cannot understand these charts, for them, pictogram, for laymen, those who are not learned people, for them we use pictograms. Small pictures or symbols are used to present the data. Fraction of pictures can be used to represent smaller. See, we are just checking the representation of the data. We have not started the test as such. This is a pictogram. So how many cake cups will be sold on Monday? It is 5 cake cups. On Tuesday, 2.5. On Wednesday, 4. On Thursday, it's 3.5, and so on. So this is a pictogram. Next is statistical maps. When statistical data refers to geographic or administrative area, it is presented either as statistical map or dot map. The shaded maps are used to present data of varying size. The areas are shaded with different colors or different intensities of same color, which is indicated in the key. Now see this. Shaded, different shades are there, and this is key. So poverty in percentage. Less than 15, 15 to 25, 25 to 35, 35 to 45, 45 and above. Check. So highest poverty is 45 and above in this area. That is Chhattisgarh. That is Bihar. That is Manipur. Right? And the lowest is Sikkim, Kerala, Goa, lowest poverty. Right? And Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh. So this is a statistical map. This is a statistical map. Scattered diagram. Scattered diagram shows a relationship between two variables. We were talking about price increase and demand decrease. These are two variables, and we try to show the relationship between two variables, whether that relation is positive or negative. So two variables, a positive correlation association between intake of fat and sugar in the average diets of 41 countries. This is just an example. Leave it. If the dots cluster round the straight line, it shows evidence a relationship is linear. I'll just explain this. If there is no such cluster, there is no relationship. Check this. There is a perfect relationship. One factor is increasing, other will increase. Perfect. It means demand is increasing, then the price is increasing, the demand will also increase. That is exception to law of demand. One is increasing, another will also increase. There is slight distortion. We are talking about scatter diagram. There is slight variation. There is perfect correlation. There is high correlation. There is low distortion increased. यहाँ पे ज़्यादा degree means it is lowest, or no correlation. No correlation between the two variables, x-axis and y-axis. So this is y-axis, this is x-axis. Y-axis, x-axis. But this is, you can say, law of demand. Price is increasing, demand is decreasing. So negative relation between the two variables. Curved relationship, curved. Initially it increases, that means positive, and later on it becomes negative. Positive, and later on it becomes distorted. So it is a partial relation between the two variables. This is how, with the help of scatter diagram, you can explain correlation or regression analysis. Box plot. Box plot is visual representation of statistical file number. I am trying to show you all the charts available so that nothing should be missed. Given data, statistical file number summary of a given data. File number summary includes minimum, first quartile, median, third quartile, and maximum. Now, what is it? If you remember, in last 2 or 3 days, I was trying to explain you measure of central tendency. In measure of central tendency, there is a tendency of the numbers. Which numbers we are talking? Raw data जो अभी आप लोगों ने देखा है, 50 का raw data या 40 का, हम लोग अगर उसको ग्राफ पे बनाते हैं एक्स एक्सिस एंड वाई एक्सिस पे, राइट, इस रॉ डेटा को हम लोग बनाते हैं, तो यू कैन सी दैट these numbers try and accumulate around a centermost value, and this centermost value is measure of central tendency. Now there are three types: mean, median and mode. ये क्या रहते हैं वो वापस से हम लोग देखेंगे, बट आई हैव ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन्ड यू, इसको वापस से मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगा। यहाँ पे हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं मीडियन की। मीडियन मीन्स व्हाट? द मिडल मोस्ट नंबर। इफ द गिवन नंबर्स, जो रॉ डेटा आपने कलेक्ट किया है उसको आप इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर में या डिक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर में अरेंज कर लेते हैं, तो जो मिडल मोस्ट नंबर है, जो बीच का नंबर है, उसको हम लोग मीडियन कहते हैं। एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको दे देता हूं। से 1 2 3 4 5, these are the five numbers, 1 2 3 4 5, or 5 4 3 2 1. So which is the middlemost number? 3. 3 is the median for this data. 3 is the median. Clear? Now in this box plot, we try to find out median, and median is always a second quartile. So we try to get the value of first quartile, median value, third quartile, minimum and maximum. Minimum and maximum means range. Minimum value and maximum value डिफरेंस अगर हम लोग ले लेते हैं तो रेंज हो जाता है। ये प्लॉट डायग्राम आपने कहाँ देखे हैं, आप मुझे बता सकते हो? You have seen somewhere box plot. Minimum value, maximum value, interquartile, that is Q1, median, second quartile, and this is third quartile. So 25%, rest 25%, rest 25%, and rest 25%. So it becomes 100% data. Where you have seen this box plot, fine. You will come to know. Give me some seconds. Now for this box plot, for example, the number of set where x is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. How we will get this? So your minimum number is 1, maximum number is 13. So maximum 13, minimum is 1. Now median, if we arrange these numbers into increasing or decreasing order, which one will be the middlemost value? There will be 2. Why? Because the numbers are 10. So once we say 10, 10 means fifth and sixth value will be the middlemost. Fifth and sixth, just check. Your 6 and 9. So we add 6 and 9 is 15. 15 divided by 2, you get 7.5. So 7.5 is your median, right? Then you can find out 25% of it. 25% means which one? This is Q3. Q3 we are talking about here, these numbers. And Q1. Q1 will be, see, divide this number into 3 quarters, or sorry, 4 quarters. So there are 10 numbers. If we check this number, we have taken 6 and 9. If we take between 3 and 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. But we are talking about 25%. 25%. So add all these numbers and take 25%, you will get this 3.5 number. If you add all the numbers and divide it by 75%, you will get 10.75. Right? This is how we draw a box chart. Candlestick charts, again a type of box chart, but where we use it, the answer is in technical analysis. In share market, you might have seen these types of charts, box chart. Stock market, forex market, and all other markets, the candlestick lines resembles candles. It looks like a candle when it is merged together or when it is in a higher data. Check this candlestick. You can see candles and stick, filled, hollow. So everything indicates some numbers. Everything indicates some numbers, and the whole process going down, again increasing, going down, increasing, going down, and there are meanings of these numbers. These are meanings of these numbers. It means the graph is telling us something which we need to understand. Fine. I'm just trying to show what are different types. Yes. So this is all about graph. We will start with next one. Give me a few seconds. Mohit sir, again we are facing the same problem. I am unable to upload.
It's okay.
Hmm.
सर आपका वीडियो एक बार टर्न ऑफ कीजिए और फिर शेयर कीजिए, हो जाएगा शायद।
Fine. Mhm. Your screen sharing is paused. Yes. Now it will. Yes.
Yes, sir. Now
Yeah.
it's me.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Let us start with univariate analysis. There are three types of analysis: univariate, bivariate, and multiple variate analysis. Univariate means single variable we consider and we analyze it. Say your weight, your height, right? Or maybe your scores in exam. We take these figures and we try to analyze it. So that is univariate. Whereas in bivariate, we take two variables like demand and price. That is two variate. So bivariate analysis. There we use correlation and regression. Here we are going to use mean, median, mode, your range, quartile deviation, that is central tendency, and measures of dispersion. These type of data. So for different data, different tests are available. And being a researcher, you should know all these tests. You need not worry about the formula of these tests, but what these tests indicate, that you have to. In a very short period of time, we will not be able to understand each, but then these are very simple ones. I'll give you the tricks how to remember this. Univariate, please remember uni, single variable. Single variable. There are three different types: mean, median, mode. In this, we will study standard deviation and coefficient of variation also. I've already explained what mean is. Mean is if different numbers are given to you, you add these numbers, and if you divide by total numbers available, that is 6. So 69 divided by 6, we get 11.5. That is the mean, right? This is also called as measure of central tendency. There are three types of measure of central tendency: mean, median, and mode, right? Now, next, if this is it, 1, 2, 3 in dollars, 350 plus 275 plus 500 plus 325 plus 100 plus 375 plus 300, what will be the mean price? And the mean price will be total of all divided by 7, that is $317.86. This is how we get the mean for raw data. For raw data, how we get the median? I've already explained. Put this into increasing or decreasing order. So 7, 11, 11, 12, 13, 15. This is increasing order. And middlemost value, because this is even numbers, we need to take third and fourth. if it would have been only odd, अगर हमारे पास सिर्फ odd numbers रहते, that is 7, 11, 11, 12 and 13, so हमारा median होता 11. But now there are 6 numbers, that is even, we need to take an average of 11 plus 12 divided by 2. 11 plus 12, that is 23, divided by 2, we get 11.5 median. And what was same numbers we have used here? It is again 11.5. So in this case, mean is 11.5. Your median is also 11.5. Can you tell me what is the mode for the same data? Mode is a number occurring maximum number of times. A single number occurring maximum number of times. So what is the mode here? 12, 15, 11, 11, 7, 13. Which number is repeated?
Eleven.
11. So 11 is the mode. And mean is 11.5, median is 11.5, whereas mode is 11. Again, for these numbers, if you put it into increasing order, 100, 275, this is odd number. So middlemost value, that is 375, is your median. And mode is 11. What is the mode for this? Yeah, mode for this. Excuse me.
सर पहले इसको
No
असेंडिंग
mode.
में ये करना पड़ेगा ना, फिर उसके
नहीं
बाद
नहीं
मोड
नहीं नहीं नहीं, वो तो मीडियन है. हम लोग मोड के बारे में, मोड मतलब कोई नंबर जो एक से ज्यादा बार रिपीट हुआ है.
No mode.
नो मोड, यस. तो ऐसा भी हो जाता है कि काफी बार मोड रहता ही नहीं है. तो यहाँ पे देर इज नो मोड. यहाँ पे देर इज नो मोड. यहाँ पे कोई मोड है? 2, 9, 5, 7, 8, 6, 4, 7, 5.
5.
हाँ. And 7 also, because
7.
5 is repeated twice, 7 is repeated twice. So it is bimodal data. The data is bimodal. It has 2 modes. The data has 2 modes. Again, increasing order, and then we will get the value. That is, I think the answer will be 325 or so. So this is mean, median, mode, no mode, we have seen. So what it is? Mean, the average, median, the number of number or average of numbers in the middle. Mode, the number of number that occurs most. The number which occurs most is mode. Now, measure of dispersion. Measure of dispersion, you remember? I explained when I've already explained in measure of dispersion. First, the concept which we have seen, that is measure of central tendency. A number is there and all numbers are accumulated around this in a graph. So for this particular example, which we have seen earlier, 11 or 11.5. 11.5 was the number for mean. 11.5 was the middlemost number and all numbers were accumulated around this in a graph. For median also it was 11.5, but mode it was 11, right? That was a measure of central tendency. But then all other numbers which are around this, by how much distance it is dispersed. And that measure, this measure is called as measure of dispersion or measure of variation, right? In this, for you in your syllabus, for this current 2019 pattern, they have removed all the other three. Range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, they have removed. They have only kept standard deviation. So we will check how to know the standard deviation and what it is. Standard deviation means deviation from the central tendency. So how much all these numbers are deviating from the centermost value. Yes. See, suppose this is your measure of central tendency, mean, median, mode, any value this is, and these are the various numbers. So, and this is the another group where the numbers are like this. Here there is a larger variation, whereas here there is smaller variation. So when the variation is small, you get a graph like this. But where the variation is large, you get a graph like this. Lipokurtic and cryptokurtic. So there are two different terms used, but try and understand this. Wherever mean, median, mode are same, that type of data is always called as normally distributed data. Right? Now, where we are going to use this normal distribution concept, whenever mean, median, mode data are same, having same value. In our example, mean was 11.5, median was 11.5, and mode was 11. So it was not normal, but where the values of mean, median, mode, all the three central tendency measures are same, it gives a normal distribution, and it is always like a bell shape. It is always like a bell shape. Why it is called as a bell shape? Bell. Have you ever been to temple? मंदिर कभी गए हो आप लोग? मंदिर में एंट्रेंस में ही एक घंटी लगाई हुई रहती है, right? And it looks how it looks. It is hollow from inside, so it is going on top and then it again decreases, right? That's why it is called as bell shape curve. Bell shape curve. Range, I have already explained, it is the highest value and the lowest value difference. That is range. So range for this given data is 10, which is one of the measure of dispersion, जो आपके syllabus में नहीं है. Now the range is not useful as a measure of variation since it only takes into account two values, the lowest and the highest. So measure of dispersion में हम लोगों ने जो चार type देखने थे, उसमें से तीन उन्होंने निकाल दिए हैं. Only one they have kept. Range, quartile deviation, and mean deviation they have removed. So let us check the variance, that is standard deviation. Variance is standard deviation को अगर हम लोग square कर देते हैं, square of standard deviation is variance. Square of standard deviation. Square means what? 2 का square कितना रहता है? 2 into 2, that is 4, right? 3 का square, 3 into 3 is 9. 4 का square, 4 into 4 is 16. That is square. Understood? और variance का square root. Square root is 4 का square root is 2, 9 का square root is 3, 16 का square root is 4. So what is variance? Variance is square of standard deviation. जो भी standard deviation हमें मिलता है. What is standard deviation? The deviation from the centermost value. सारे numbers के जो deviations है, अगर हम लोग उसको add कर देते हैं तो हमें एक deviation का figure मिलता है. इस figure को हम लोग square कर देते हैं तो वो हमारा variance हो जाता है, right? Variance मतलब distortion. Now, in simple terms, this is variance, sigma square. अगर हम लोग इसको सिग्मा रखते हैं तो हम लोगों को यहाँ पे अंडर रूट लेना पड़ता है, अंडर रूट, राइट? नाउ x minus x bar. Suppose there are 5 figures. I'll check whether the example is there. Yes. Try and understand there are 5 different figures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? इसका हम लोग पहले how to calculate variance और how to calculate standard deviation मैं in short बता रहा हूँ. You need not remember this. सिर्फ आपको वो value क्या है और उसको कैसे read करना है वो पता होना चाहिए. But for a simple example, 5 values were given. We added it and divided it by 5. So we got mean as 34.2. Right? Now we will try to find out the variance. Variance is how much? First value is 10. That is x minus mean जो हमें मिला है 34.2. We'll square it. Plus second value 21 minus the mean. Third value minus the mean square, fourth value minus the mean square, and so on. And we divided it by n minus 1. N means number of values. We have 5. Minus 1 is 4. So if we add it and divide it by 4, we get value of 376.7 units. This is your variance. But if you ask me what is standard deviation, if we take a square root of this, that becomes a standard deviation. That becomes a standard deviation. This is same. Like it is done through another formula. This is one formula and this is another formula. Both answers are same, 376.5. Right? Say this again, 376.5. Standard deviation is another measure of variation. It is square root of variance. Square root. इसका अगर हम लोग square root ले लेते हैं, square root, it is available in your calculator also, mobile calculator. Just check. Square root of 376.7 becomes the standard deviation. अब हम लोगों को इसका जरूरत क्यों पड़ता है, इसकी जरूरत हम लोगों को क्यों पड़ती है, वो मैं अभी आपको समझा देता हूँ. आपको सैम्पलिंग मेथड्स याद है? सैम्पलिंग मेथड्स में से हम लोगों ने क्या किया, पॉपुलेशन था, पॉपुलेशन में से सैंपल ले लिया, क्लस्टर में से हम लोगों ने अलग अलग क्लस्टर में डिवाइड किया, उसमें से हम लोगों ने रैंडमली कुछ सैंपल ले लिए. फॉर स्ट्रेटिफाइड सैम्पलिंग वी डिवाइडेड द कंप्लीट पॉपुलेशन इनटू डिफरेंट स्ट्रेटा, मेल, फीमेल, चिल्ड्रन, एडल्ट्स एंड सो ऑन. राइट? ये जो हम लोगों ने सैंपल लिए, इसके हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, इससे हम लोगों ने डेटा कलेक्शन किया और उससे हम लोगों ने वैल्यूज निकाले. से मीन, मीडियन, मोड की वैल्यूज हम लोगों ने अभी कैलकुलेट कर ली. हम लोगों ने स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन और वेरिएंस की वैल्यू कैलकुलेट कर ली. अब हम लोग कोफिशिएंट ऑफ वेरिएशन देखने वाले हैं. कोफिशिएंट ऑफ वेरिएशन को हम लोग थोड़ी देर के लिए बाजू में रख देंगे. अभी जस्ट याद रखिए कि हम लोगों ने मीन, मीडियन, मोड फाइंड आउट किया है, हम लोगों ने स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन फाइंड आउट किया है. व्हाटएवर वैल्यूज वी हैव गॉट, ये किस चीज की वैल्यू है? आंसर, ये किस चीज की वैल्यू है? नो आंसर? yes, these are the values of the sample which we have collected. Understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
हाँ. Now how you will come to know कि ये sample representative है population का? ये जो मीन मिला है, ये मीन ही पॉपुलेशन का मीन है. वो जो होता है उसको हम लोग डेटा एनालिसिस कहते हैं. जब ये सैंपल हम लोगों ने चूज किया है एंड दैट सैंपल इज ऑफ पॉपुलेशन आल्सो, दैट सैंपल सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी एंड दैट सैंपल डेविएशन is of population also, then we say this sample is true representative of that population. This is true representative of the population, right? इस चीज के लिए हम लोगों को ये सब करना पड़ता है. Once we come to know that, yes, then we generalize the statement. Whatever result, like price increases, demand decreases, ये generalized statement कब बना है? When they have tested it. When they have tested it, उन्होंने पहले ऑब्जेक्टिव दिया था, फिर हाइपोथेसिस बनाया, फिर लिटरेचर रिव्यू किया, फिर उन्होंने रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी बनाया, रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी के बाद उन्होंने डेटा एनालिसिस किया, डेटा एनालिसिस को उन्होंने एनालाइज किया. वेयर वी आर राइट नाउ, एनालाइज करने के बाद वी विल गिव इन्फ्रेंस. सो व्हाट आवर इन्फ्रेंस विल बी, इफ दिस मीन एंड द पॉपुलेशन मीन इज सेम, देन यस, द डेटा इज ट्रू रिप्रेजेंटेटिव. सो व्हाटएवर वी फाउंड आउट, whatever we found out means हमारा जो भी फाइंडिंग रहेगा, जो भी कंक्लूजन रहेगा, we can generalize it. तब जाके लॉ ऑफ डिमांड इज अ जनरल स्टेटमेंट. राइट? अब आपको पता चला लॉ ऑफ डिमांड हम लोगों ने जनरल स्टेटमेंट क्यों बनाया है. whosoever has found it, उसको जनरल स्टेटमेंट क्यों बनाया गया है? because it is true representative. Right? Now check here. I was talking about standard deviation. Now 376.7 under root is 19.41. 19.41 is the standard deviation of the sample. Next comes one more term, that is coefficient of variation. अब ये coefficient of variation होता क्या है वो find out कर लेते हैं हम लोग. इसके लिए हमें standard deviation की जरूरत पड़ती है. And this is very important concept. The variation and the standard deviation are useful as measures of variation of the values of a single variable for a single population. If we want to compare the variation of two variables, we cannot use variation or standard deviation because अब जैसे दो अलग अलग डेटा है, आपके हाइट्स और आपके वेट, these are two different data. इन दोनों के यूनिट्स भी अलग अलग है. आपके हाइट का जो यूनिट रहेगा वो सेंटीमीटर्स में या फिर हम लोग फीट में कर सकते हैं, whereas your weight it will be in kilograms. Yes, इन दोनों डेटा को हम लोगों को कंपेयर करना है. इसका कोफिशिएंट ऑफ वेरिएशन फाइंड आउट करना है, इसमें वेरिएशन कितना है वो फाइंड आउट करना है. उसके लिए हम लोग वैरिएंस यूज नहीं कर सकते, राइट? फॉर दैट वी यूज कोफिशिएंट ऑफ वेरिएशन. नाउ what is the problem? The variable might have different units, as I told you, centimeter or feet and kilograms. Variable might have different means. इन दोनों के means, आपके height का mean कैसे निकाला? 5 students were there, उनके height add कर दिया divided by 5. यहाँ पे weights के हम लोगों ने addition कर दिया divided by 5, right? इसका mean अलग आया, इसका mean अलग आया, तो हम लोग इसका variance नहीं निकाल सकते, right? इस चीज के लिए हम लोगों को कोफिशिएंट ऑफ वेरिएशन निकालना पड़ता है. हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम लोग सी पहले डेटा का मीन सपोज x1 है, दूसरे डेटा का मीन सपोज x2 है, उसका हम लोगों ने स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन निकाल दिया, स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन, और हम लोग एक रिलेटिव फिगर निकालेंगे, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज कोफिशिएंट ऑफ वेरिएशन. सो स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन ऑफ 1 डिवाइडेड बाय मीन ऑफ 1 इनटू 100 कर देंगे तो वी गेट द कोफिशिएंट ऑफ वेरिएशन. Standard deviation of 1 mean of standard deviation of 2 mean of 2, that is weights, into 100 कर दिया, we get coefficient of variation. जब हम लोगों ने इसको कंपेयर किया, check this, the relative variability in the first data set is larger than relative variability of the second data. This C1 is greater than C2. So हम लोगों ने एक एग्जांपल लिया, एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल जिसमें इसमें 4.5 मिला, इसमें भी, बट दिस वेरिएशन, चेक दिस, यहाँ पे x1 is 66, mean is 66 kgs and for this mean is 36 kgs. Standard deviation though it is same, that is 4.5 kgs. हम लोगों ने इसका CV निकाला, for this it is 6.8 whereas this is 12.5. So we found out that CV, coefficient of variation of first data, is less than coefficient of second. So हम लोग क्या कह सकते हैं इसको, the relative variability in the data 2 is large than data 1. मतलब मेरा जो height का डेटा था और जो weight का डेटा था, तो weight के डेटा में वेरिएशन ज्यादा है. समझ में आ रहा है? अगर यहाँ पे वेरिएशन ज्यादा है तो हमारा जो सैंपल है वो सैंपल में वेरिएशन ज्यादा है, तो पॉपुलेशन में भी वेरिएशन ज्यादा होगा. Clear to all? And when such type of variations are there, there occurs your errors. उसकी वजह से जो हमारा रिजल्ट आएगा वो एरर हो सकता है, right? And for this we are studying mean, median, mode, standard deviation and coefficient of variation. I hope you have understood this. Fine. So today what we saw, we have seen data representation into graphical forms, into pictorial, into pie chart, into different forms of charts. मैंने आपको सारे दिखा दिए charts कैसे होते हैं, right? मैंने आपको और क्या बताया? फॉर अ सिंगल वेरिएबल हम लोग कौन कौन से टेस्ट यूज करते हैं. फॉर सिंगल वेरिएबल हम लोग यूज कर रहे हैं अभी मीन, मीडियन, मोड एंड स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन एंड कोफिशिएंट ऑफ वेरिएशन. इसमें एक टर्म आता है वैरिएंस. वैरिएंस क्या रहता है? स्क्वायर ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन. यहां तक हम लोगों ने देख लिया. अब इसका मतलब क्या रहता है? जैसे आपको वैरिएंस या फिर स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन दिया हुआ है दो अलग अलग डेटा का, तो उसमें आपको पता चलना चाहिए कि ये दोनों डेटा कितने डिफर हो रहे हैं, ये दोनों डेटा में स्कैटर्डनेस कितना है, वो हमें स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन बताता है. मीन, मीडियन, मोड हमें बताता है कि वो डेटा कितना नॉर्मल है. जब मीन, मीडियन, मोड की वैल्यू सेम रहती है तो हमें एक बेल शेप कर्व मिलता है, एंड दिस बेल शेप कर्व is called as normally distributed data. So हम लोग मान लेते हैं कि ये जो डेटा हम लोगों ने कलेक्ट किया it is normally distributed because its mean median mode is same. Now what is the use of understanding whether the data is normal or not? हम लोग इसके आगे जाके देखने वाले हैं two types of test. One is parametric test and another one is non-parametric test. तो जितने भी डेटा आप लोगों ने कलेक्ट किया रहेगा, जो भी रिसर्च कर रहे हैं आप, उसका डेटा जो कलेक्ट किया रहेगा उसका आप लोग सबसे पहले करते हैं नॉर्मेलिटी टेस्ट. तो अगर आपने उसका नॉर्मेलिटी टेस्ट किया और आपको पता चला कि जो डेटा हमने कलेक्ट किया है वो नॉर्मल नहीं है, तो उसके लिए अलग सेट ऑफ टेस्ट आपको यूज करने पड़ेंगे. मगर आपने देखा कि जो डेटा आपने कलेक्ट किया है वो नॉर्मल है, तो उसके लिए अलग सेट ऑफ टेस्ट यूज करने पड़ेंगे. आपको समझ में आ रहा है हम लोग क्या बात कर रहे हैं? यस
यस सर.
हाँ, हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं पैरामेट्रिक टेस्ट एंड नॉन पैरामेट्रिक टेस्ट. स्टैटिस्टिक्स में ये दो टाइप के टेस्ट रहते हैं. पैरामेट्रिक टेस्ट जो डेटा नॉर्मेलिटी दिखाता है, जो नॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है, उसके लिए हम लोग पैरामेट्रिक टेस्ट यूज करते हैं. और जो नॉन पैरामेट्रिक रहता है, जो नॉर्मल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन को फॉलो नहीं करता है, उसके लिए नॉन पैरामेट्रिक टेस्ट है. ठीक है. अब आप बोलोगे सर हम लोगों को क्या लेने देना है इसका? आप एक रिसर्चर हो, आप एक मैनेजर हो. आप मैनेजर हो तो आपने अपना सेल्स डेटा फाइंड आउट करने की कोशिश की कि हमारे यहाँ पे सेल्स में वेरिएशन क्यों हो रहा है. उसके लिए आपने क्वेश्चनर बनाया, उसके लिए आपने पॉपुलेशन ढूंढा, उसके लिए आपने सैंपल निकाला, आपने डेटा कलेक्ट किया. डेटा कलेक्ट करने के बाद आपने जब एनालाइज करने की कोशिश की तो आपको ये पता चला कि आपका जो डेटा है वो नॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है. अब जब आपको पता चल गया कि इट इज नॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड, देन विच टाइप ऑफ डेटा, विच टाइप ऑफ टेस्ट यू विल यूज? पैरामेट्रिक टेस्ट. बट अगर आपको यही पता नहीं है कि पैरामेट्रिक टेस्ट क्या रहते हैं और नॉन पैरामेट्रिक टेस्ट क्या रहते हैं, तो आप लोग क्या करोगे? कोई भी टेस्ट उठाओगे और उसको चेक करने की कोशिश करोगे, एंड यू विल प्रूव और डिस्प्रूव योर हाइपोथेसिस एंड यू विल प्रेजेंट इट इन फ्रंट ऑफ योर सीनियर्स. आपका सारा का सारा रिसर्च गलत है और आपने जो प्रेजेंटेशन दिया वो भी गलत है, और आपके सीनियर्स ने उसको क्रॉस चेक नहीं किया, एंड दे इंप्लीमेंटेड व्हाटएवर योर सजेशंस वेयर एंड दे फेल इन द मार्केट. समझ में आया? कंपनी ने रिसर्च में सपोज 2 लाख रुपए खर्चे किए और उन्होंने आपने जो सजेशन दिया उसके ऊपर 10 लाख रुपए खर्च किया, और उसके बाद उन्होंने जब ये सब इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हो गया तब उनको पता चला कि ये सब गलत था. तो 10 और 2 12 लाख का आपने कंपनी का नुकसान कर दिया, प्लस कंपनी का जो गुडविल था मार्केट में वो भी खराब हो गया. गुडविल इज व्हाट? नॉन टेंजेबल एसेट. उसका वैल्यू पता करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल रहता है, बट यस उसका वैल्यू शेयर मार्केट में पता चल जाता है. गुडविल का एम से नॉन टेंजेबल एसेट में आता है, जो आपके बैलेंस शीट में दिखाया जाता है. समझ में आ रहा है? तो ये तो 12 लाख का टेंजेबल लॉसेस हो गए आपके, बट इसके अलावा अपने गुडविल को भी लॉस कर दिया विच इज नॉन टेंजेबल. क्लियर टू ऑल? इसीलिए रिसर्च को समझना बहुत जरूरी है. आधा अधूरा जिन्होंने मेरे पहले लेक्चर्स किए और आज का लेक्चर नहीं किया, उनको ये पता नहीं चलेगा कि पैरामेट्रिक नॉन पैरामेट्रिक कुछ रहता है. कब पैरामेट्रिक यूज करना है उनको ये पता नहीं चलेगा, कब नॉन पैरामेट्रिक करना है ये पता नहीं चलेगा. एंड व्हेन a task is given to them, being a marketing manager, being a finance manager, being some other senior post you are holding, that complete this task, then you will go fail. You will go fail because everything is available on software. सॉफ्टवेयर में सब कुछ है, बट आप लोग कब क्या यूज करोगे अगर आपको यही पता नहीं है, तो यू आर गोइंग टू फेल 200 नहीं 500%. हम लोग उसकी ग्रेविटी बताने के लिए 200% 500% कहते हैं, राइट? लिटरली इट डज नॉट मीन देयर इज 200% और 500%. परसेंटेज रिमेन्स द सेम, दैट इज 100%. बट समझने की कोशिश करना है आप लोगों को कि दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड कहाँ पे कौन सा टेस्ट करना है. यूनिवेरिएट रहेगा तो कौन से टेस्ट आएंगे, बाईवेरिएट रहेगा तो कौन से टेस्ट आएंगे, मल्टीवेरिएट रहेंगे तो कौन से टेस्ट आएंगे, राइट? सो फॉर दैट टुमारो वी विल सी बाईवेरिएट. आज हम लोगों ने यूनिवेरिएट देखा. यूनिवेरिएट में कौन कौन से टेस्ट हम लोगों ने देखे आज? प्लीज लेट मी नो. अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ एंड लेट मी नो. यस, फास्ट. प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ. We have seen mean, we have seen median, we have seen mode, we have seen standard deviation, we have seen variance, we have seen coefficient of variation. जो हमें डेटा का वेरिएशन बताता है, जो डेटा नॉर्मल है नहीं है वो हमें बताता है, राइट? ये ट्रू रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है कि नहीं पूरे पॉपुलेशन का, वो हमें पता चलता है। तब हम लोग जाके अपना जो कंक्लूजन है वो जनरलाइज कर सकते हैं, या फिर वी स्टॉप देयर बिकॉज द सैंपल विच वी कलेक्टेड इज नॉट अ ट्रू रिप्रेजेंटेटिव। तो हम लोग वहां पे वो जनरलाइज नहीं स्टेटमेंट दे सकते हैं। प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस। टुमारो ऑनवर्ड्स वी विल सी bivariate and multivariate test. Fine. We are into the last unit of this course, that is business research methods. So this is the last unit. It means we have already completed almost 90% of the syllabus. Only 10% has left, which we will complete tomorrow or most probably day after tomorrow. And then you are free to appear for that test. Fine. How many of you have already started appearing for the MCQs? Yes. MCQs आप लोगों में से कितनों ने सॉल्व करने शुरू कर दिए हैं? No one?
आज कल सर
फाइन, एक बार ट्राई कर लीजिए क्योंकि बीआरएम का सिलेबस ऑलमोस्ट अभी खत्म हो रहा है, तो बीआरएम के कर लीजिए। जिन जिन का सिलेबस कंप्लीट हो गया, जस्ट टेस्ट योरसेल्फ। माय हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट इज डू नॉट चीट। जो भी आप आंसर देना चाहते हैं रैंडमली उसमें आंसर दीजिए और चेक कीजिए आपका नॉलेज बराबर है कि नहीं। इफ यू आर गेटिंग लेस स्कोर, यू नीड टू स्टडी। इफ यू आर गेटिंग अप्रोप्रिएट स्कोर, इट्स ओके, यू विल पास इन फाइनल एग्जाम। सो वी आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर द फाइनल एग्जाम्स। आपके रिक्वेस्ट पे हम लोगों ने ये टेस्ट आपको देने की कोशिश की है, एंड विल बी डिस्प्लेइंग द स्कोर्स आल्सो ऑन 7, राइट? सो डू इट सिंसियरली, डू नॉट चीट, डू नॉट कॉपी। किसी और ने जो किए वही आपने करने की जरूरत नहीं है, एंड जस्ट ट्राई एंड चेक कहाँ आप गलत हुए हो, कहाँ आपका सही आंसर था। तभी आप लोग फाइनल में अच्छा स्कोर कर पाओगे, बिकॉज यहाँ पे हम लोगों को किसी को कुछ दिखाना नहीं है, हम लोगों को यहाँ पे सिर्फ अपने में इंप्रूवमेंट करने हैं। And one important thing which I would like to share with you all is, now the market has changed because of COVID-19. The requirement of each and every industry has changed. All the industries are thinking of automation. What do you mean by automation? It means less manpower will be required. ये तो आपको समझ में आता है? Now, yes, yesterday I was talking to one of the faculty who is into placement, right, of Sinhagad. मैं उनसे जब बात कर रहा था तो उनसे मुझे ये पता चला कि the only problem is number of companies are there. He said for one of the course, there were 54 companies they bought. उन्होंने 54 कंपनीज कॉलेज में लाए कैंपस प्लेसमेंट के लिए, बट कितने बच्चे प्लेस हुए? Any guess? Only 6 students could pass the interview, crack the interview. Only 6 out of 60. समझ में आ रहा है? 54 कंपनीज वेयर देयर। मैंने उनसे पूछा ऐसा क्यों? उन्होंने कहा कि द स्किल सेट रिक्वायर्ड बाय द स्टूडेंट टू क्रैक द इंटरव्यू, टू गेट द जॉब इज नॉट प्रेजेंट. Students are not improving. From last 1 year, you are not doing anything. You are not giving your brain instructions that you need to study, you need to improve your skills, you need to work hard. जो बाकी बच्चे यहाँ पे लेक्चर नहीं कर रहे, उनको लग रहा है वो ऐसे ही पास हो जाएंगे, गवर्नमेंट उनको पास कर रही है, बट आपको उल्लू बनाया जा रहा है, बिकॉज यू आर पासिंग बट विथ नो स्किल, नो स्किल. आपको एमसीक्यूज पता चल गया, मीन्स यू हैव स्टॉप स्टडीइंग. But those sincere students who are attending my all the lectures, today is my 8th session. We are continuously sitting here for 1.5, 2 hours daily. You all are sincere. You are learning something new of research, and definitely, I promise, I dare you, this will help you in your future. And definitely, आप 2, 3, 4, 5 साल के बाद मुझे आके बताओगे कि सर आपने जो पढ़ाया था उसका मुझे बहुत यूज हुआ है. But yes, this should be applicable to all the courses which you are learning. All the lecturers, whatever they are teaching, उनको आता है नहीं आता है, उनका स्टाइल अच्छा है नहीं है, मेरा स्टाइल पढ़ाने का अच्छा है नहीं है, do not look at that. Only gain knowledge. Gain knowledge. There are more than I think how many? More than 1,000, 2,000 e-books are there now. I'll be adding for a few hundred more once I'll go to institute. मुझे बस वो डाउनलोड करने हैं. इतने सारे बुक्स हैं. टीचर से नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, बुक्स ले लीजिए, उसमें से पढ़ने की कोशिश कीजिए, कंसेप्ट क्लियर कर लीजिए। कोई भी कंसेप्ट नहीं क्लियर हुआ है, रीड इट वंस ट्वाइस थ्राइस, प्लीज, बट डू इट, right? Because unless and until you will improve your skills, you should be good at something. Something means कोई एक चीज में आपका स्किल बहुत अच्छा होना चाहिए. It should be different than others. गिटार बजा रहे हो, गिटार बजाना सीख लो, बट उसमें आपका स्किल बहुत ही आउटस्टैंडिंग होना चाहिए. Then and then you will get a good rewards out of it. Right? झूठ बोलना है तो झूठ बोलने के भी स्किल्स आपको हर तरीके के आने चाहिए. Then and then you can become a हर्षद मेहता. नहीं तो आप उसमें भी फेल हो गए, आपका कुछ नहीं होने वाला. You will be out of the market. So please, this is my sincere request, improve your skills. Yesterday we were having our faculty meeting. उसमें भी मोहित सर, आपको भी पता रहेगा, मैडम ने भी कहा है, मैंने भी रिक्वेस्ट किया है, मोहित सर एंड वैभव सर, they are new in our organization and they are very young. They are very young. So we requested them to improve your skills. So they are also into sorry, they are also trying to improve their skills by joining different courses. मोहित सर ने तो already 2 courses join कर लिए और वो अपने knowledge बढ़ाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. Though they are working. Why? Because again and again I'm telling you, हम लोगों ने जो कॉलेज में पढ़ा था उसके इस पे हम लोग आज तक आगे आ गए. Right? My last MSc I did it in 1996. And if I'm not wrong, MBA I completed in 2000 with distinction. Now this is 21, right? So after MSc I started working. So almost 24-25 years I'm working. अब हम लोगों ने जो नॉलेज गेन किया था उसके इस पे हम लोग अभी तक आ गए. बट फॉर यू द सिचुएशन इज नॉट द सेम. अभी कोविड आया है, देयर विल बी अगेन अ न्यू नॉर्मल. हम लोगों ने एक सेमिनार लिया था न्यू नॉर्मल का, इफ यू रिमेंबर. देयर आई वाज टेलिंग यू दिस इज न्यू नॉर्मल, बट वेरी सून वी विल फेस अ न्यू नॉर्मल, अगेन अ न्यू नॉर्मल, राइट? हमारे इसमें ऐसा नहीं था, हमारे इसमें बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं था. देयर वाज अ सिंगल नॉर्मल एंड दैट वाज अ नॉर्मल लाइफ. For you all, life has changed. Every second life is changing. Every second you need to face the challenge. अगर आप वो challenges face नहीं करोगे, you will be out of the market. You cannot do anything. Then no other options left with you than begging, then getting frustrated, then thinking of suicide, then thinking of robbery, then thinking of a number of different unethical practices. समझ में आ रहा है? So if you really want to improve, this is the best time. दिन में जितना भी टाइम मिल रहा है, read different types of literature. अलग अलग बुक्स पढ़ने की कोशिश कीजिए. Try and gather maximum knowledge. पहले का कंसेप्ट ऐसा था कि you should be a king of one and jack of others. अब ऐसा हो गया है, market has changed. You should be jack of all and king of nothing. It means आपको हर चीज का थोड़ा थोड़ा नॉलेज होना ही चाहिए. You cannot say कि मैं फाइनेंस मेरा स्पेशलाइजेशन नहीं है, so I don't know anything about finance and I don't want to know. No, फाइनेंस भी आपको आना चाहिए, प्रोडक्शन के बारे में भी पता होना चाहिए, मार्केटिंग also you should know, business analytics you should know international business, you should know all other subject. Clear? So start doing it. This is very important. This is very important and I'm humbly requesting you to improve your skills. आपको मेरे वर्ड्स बाद में पता चलेंगे. यू आर माई स्टूडेंट्स. मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं कि अपना स्किल इंप्रूव कीजिए. जो जो मार्केट में आगे लगने वाला है उसका अभी से थोड़ा फोरकास्ट कीजिए एंड स्टार्ट डूइंग इट. अदरवाइज यू विल बी आउट ऑफ द मार्केट, यू विल नॉट गेट जॉब. And getting a job in last 2 years has become very difficult. Then you will start blaming the institute कि यार इंस्टीट्यूट ने हमें कैंपस प्लेसमेंट नहीं दिया. मैं बता रहा हूँ, 54 कंपनीज में सिर्फ 6 बच्चे सेलेक्ट हुए हैं. आप लोग क्या करोगे? हम लोग 50 कंपनीज लाएंगे, नहीं होगा. आपके सीनियर्स ने भी वही किया, उनके सुपर सीनियर्स ने भी वही किया. ऑलवेज आवर प्लेसमेंट परसेंटेज sticks to 80-85%. उससे ज्यादा हम लोग टच ही नहीं कर पाते, बिकॉज द रिमेनिंग 10-15 स्टूडेंट्स वो तो एकदम ही गए गुजरे रहते हैं. और जिनको प्लेसमेंट मिला रहता है, जो 80-85% रहते हैं, उसमें से सिर्फ 10-15% स्टूडेंट्स आर रियली गुड एंड दे आर गेटिंग गुड पैकेज. 8 lakhs का पैकेज भी अपने यहाँ पे गया है मैट्रिक्स में. बट जस्ट थिंक ऑफ इट कि वो 8 लाख के पैकेज लेने वाला कितना स्मार्ट रहेगा. 6 लाख 6.5 lakhs का पैकेज भी मिला है. स्टार्ट पैकेज आई एम सेइंग, not experienced. After getting experience, start package. So try and understand, improve your skills, study hard. जो भी चीजें आपको नहीं पता चल रही है बात कीजिए. अगर फैकल्टी आपको उसका आंसर नहीं दे पा रहे हैं तो उनको टाइम दीजिए. We will prepare ourselves, we will let you know, we will improve, we will study, right? We will give you the answers to your queries. Because see, अभी तक हम लोगों को इन सब चीजों की जरूरत नहीं पड़ रही थी. मुझे जूम क्या था मुझे कभी पता नहीं था. ये जो इंटरेक्शन फेस टू फेस हम लोग करते थे क्लासरूम में, वी यूज्ड टू बी वेरी सेटिस्फाइड. अब यहाँ पे मुझे एक भी बच्चे का चेहरा नहीं दिख रहा है. आई एम टॉकिंग टू माई सेल्फ एंड आई विल गो क्रेजी अबाउट दिस. व्हाई? बिकॉज लास्ट 24 years आई वाज टीचिंग फेस टू फेस, जहाँ पे मेरे सामने बच्चे बैठे रहते थे. सो जस्ट ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड द अमाउंट ऑफ फ्रस्ट्रेशन वी आर गेटिंग एज अ फैकल्टी. कोई भी सामने नहीं है, मैं अकेला ही बैठा हूँ, आसपास का इन्वायरमेंट कुछ भी नहीं है. ओनली हेडफोन मेरे कान में है. आई एम आस्किंग यू, समझ में आया. ओनली 1 or 2 students are responding. This increase the frustration level, which you will not understand right now because you are into that millennial group. तो आप लोग वैसे ही बड़े हो, आपको इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला. But as you grow older, you will start getting frustrated. So prepare yourself, improve your skills, improve your behaviors, improve your habits. जो भी चीजें हैं अच्छी चीजें सीखने की कोशिश कीजिए. Right? I hope I am done for the day, but this is very important, which I have discussed with you. Fine. If you permit, if there are no questions, shall we stop?
Yes, sir.
Yes, only one student has responded. I am expecting at least 2 more responses. Shall we stop?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Fine. Have a good day. And please take seriously whatever I have discussed with you. We will stop the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you,
Good day.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.